let's take a look at the first. I'm going to call this the first variant. It's the most common variant, the voiced uvular fricative. It sounds like this, and that's the most common R sound in Hochdeutsch, and this occurs in word onset position, syllable onset position at the beginning of words and syllables. And I've got some examples for you. Das Rad, der Rasen. The next one is the voiced uvular approximant, which is that slightly more vocalic, but not vocalic sound that has like more airflow. So it sounds like and so you could say reden, drei, and that is an approximant. If you're like speaking really carefully, or if someone asks you to repeat yourself, like, wait, what'd you say? So for example, you might say, ich habe 3 Hunde. Ich habe 3 Hunde. And then you're using the uvular approximant, drei. And then someone might go, wie viele? And then you go, drei. So you're just like over enunciating. You're being very careful and articulate. Then you wouldn't say drei. You wouldn't be like that. You wouldn't have that vocalic feature, that semi-vocalic feature in your careful speech. So that's what I'm saying here. Kind of like if you say like butter, give me some butter. And then someone asks you like, what do you want? You say butter. You get the difference, like if you're speaking really carefully, you kind of reproduce it with like a different sound, but it's the same in your head. So this approximant is sort of this not careful, casual sound, sort of this like butter version of butter. The next variant that I'm going to discuss is that Tiefschwa. It's an actual vowel sound, and it's known as the Tiefschwa or the vocalic R. And if you're actually studying linguistics, this is the near, low, center, unrounded vowel. Near, low, center, unrounded vowel. And is not a consonant, even though it's spelled with an R. It's an actual vowel sound. It appears on the vowel chart, and it's known as the Tiefschwa. And it can be syllabic or nonsyllabic. The nonsyllabic variant appears in the IPA with this little diacritic under it. Anyway, so some examples here are der, the, Tür, door, Bär, bear, and Lehrer, teacher, masculine. And the distribution of this sound, it occurs at the end of an unstressed syllable, and is usually following a long vowel or a diphthong. So you'll notice Lehrer, it's following an R sound, but usually it's following a vowel like Bär, Tür, der, and that's those are long vowels too. So the next one is the uvular trill, and that's the one. So it sounds like this, and so it does occasionally occur at the beginning of words. So the distribution would be word initial. It gives me this like older generation, like olden timey, maybe sort of not formal, not like, but maybe sort of theatrical, dramatic kind of feel. So in the last video, I gave a little excerpt from a poem, and I was hoping that maybe felt kind of dramatic when I used this uvular trill instead of the more standard fricative. Sei ruhig, bleibe ruhig, mein Kind. And I'm not trained in German diction, but that was, my attempt um, at using this like kind of dramatic variant. I don't know. It is less common in Hochdeutsch, but yeah, you might hear it in like a formal recitation, or if someone's trying to do this like hypercorrect pronunciation thing. The alveolar trill is the only one that's produced like really at the front of the mouth. Most of them are way at the back at the uvula, and then you've got the vocalic one that's kind of like vowels. It's not really, doesn't have a point of articulation. But the alveolar trill is produced at the alveolar ridge, and the distribution is it doesn't really have a distribution pattern, because it's basically it occurs in certain dialects, like in the south, and like Bavaria, Swabia, and maybe in Swiss German, which is very difficult for me to understand, by the way. And it also occurs in like opera singing, and that I really wanted to bring this up because I have this awesome example from Die Zauberflöte, where I guess this isn't distribution, but it's distribution in context. So if you're singing opera, then, or if you're training to sing in opera, then you're probably being told, don't say Rachegötter, say Rachegötter. And that, I think, so it sounds so cool, like Rachegötter. And I don't know, that sounds so interesting to me. And this isn't standard Hochdeutsch. So that's Der Hülle Rache, and that's from Die Zauberflöte. And of course, if you look it up on YouTube, you can hear someone singing it, and I don't do that. And yeah, so that's the alveolar trill, Rachegötter, and that, yeah, it doesn't really have a distribution pattern, except that like regional dialects, and then like opera. So I'm going to try to recap that for you succinctly. These are 5 pretty different sounds. Some are interchangeable, but basically you've got the uvular fricative. That's really common. The uvular approximant is a relaxed variation of that. It sounds very similar. You use it in the same context. The vocalic R is an R sound spelled like an R, but it's actually a vowel. You might not even have realized it. Thinking of it that way might help you pronounce it. And then you've got the trills. You've got the uvular trill back here and the alveolar trill in the front of the mouth. And those are used really in special contexts like opera or diction and maybe Southern dialects. So yes, I'm Laura Calabrese. This is German with a Linguist, and maybe this video was helpful to you if you're studying German phonetics and phonology, and or if you're trying to reduce your accent in German. Okay, ciao.